Hi, I'm Arlene, host of the television talk show Ask Arlene, which airs on Thursdays at 6:30. And as a business consultant and life coach, I help you to move forward in your business, project, or endeavor. So if you always wanted to write a book, but you just haven't seemed to get started, or you always wanted to 10x that business that you already have, expand it to the next level, you know exactly what you need to do, but you just haven't done it? Well, I've already purchased all the courses, read all the books, the Tony Robbins, all sorts. I have several degrees, including a master's degree and credits toward a doctorate. I've sat with and met celebrities and done the networking. And what I've realized is what I really needed was a mastermind group of people working toward my project, my business, or my endeavor. So what I've done is met with coaches and met with experts and put them together to work on your project. So join us today for our mastermind networking group. I'll see you there. Click the link below and join us.
Hello and welcome to the Ask Arlene Show. I am your host, Arlene. The show is called Ask Arlene, where you get to ask the questions. And the concept is, this is where you learn to overcome fear, get unstuck, and live your best life. And so today we're talking about how to be more healthful so that you can live your best life. And we're so excited because we have a special guest today. Her name is Keisha Easley. And the reason why she's so amazing is because she not only knows how to lose weight, but she grows her own food, guys. This woman is amazing. She lost 75 pounds and she's going to tell us how we can lose weight as well. The name of her company is Worth the Wait because she was over 40 years old when she lost the weight. So everybody that says, oh, you can't lose weight after a certain age, it's not true, guys. So I want you to be thinking of this today. Celebrate your reality, your royalty every day. And she's going to tell us today how we can celebrate, lose weight, and just feel better and look better. And I have my green drink with me today. So I'll be drinking while she's giving us all of this juicy insight. So without further ado, hi, Keisha. How are you today?
Oh, I'm well. Thank you for having me.
Great. It's a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you for agreeing to come on and share with us how you were able to lose 75 pounds as a mature person in this world with all of the gimmicks and the gizmos and things. How did you finally come to find this particular tool to lose weight?
Well, I can't say that I haven't tried everything first. I literally have tried everything. I've done don't eat. I've done the count the calories, don't go past 1,200 calories.
Mm-hmm.
I did what I thought was straight keto. And then, but this was years and years of going back and forth, losing weight, gaining weight, back and forth.
You tried the one where you don't eat until like after 12 o'clock or after 3 o'clock? What is that?
I just tried the one where you just don't eat until you can't take it anymore.
You don't eat at all until when?
So I didn't have the fancy name for the intermittent fasting. I didn't have
intermittent fasting.
No, it was just stop eating food until that didn't work.
Well, you can't anymore.
Right. So it took me just years and I think it had to do with readiness because I felt like it was just going to help me lose weight. And then I could go back to eating the stuff that made me gain weight. And somehow that made sense at the time. But
whenever we go on the diets, they always say, well, after the diet, then you can go back. But no, that's not the key.
No. And so I kept going back and I couldn't figure out, well, why do I keep regaining weight. So it wasn't until I actually found a book called The Plant Paradox by
Oh,
Dr. Gundry.
yeah.
And I was reading this book and it just started describing all these different things I had been experiencing. And it made sense to me. And I was like, I at least got to try this, even though I was really reluctant, because I felt like, too restrictive. It's, things that are too restrictive, you will never be able to stick with. Why,
Right.
why would I want to live my life without ice cream and cakes and cookies?
Ever?
But,
Ever?
well, that's
Ice
what I
cream?
was telling myself, that
Oh, but
it's
not in your.
forever.
You eat
But
plant ice cream?
say it again.
I was being facetious. Ask me if you eat plant ice cream. Just it's just
I've
bad.
made avocado ice cream.
Wow.
I have actually, but it's not something that I crave anymore. So it's not my everyday. No, it's not.
And you don't need it because you feel so good now not eating it that there's no reason for you to regress. So I'm familiar with Dr. Gundry and I've watched his stuff. And his story is that he was also overweight, but yet he was working out all the time. So a lot of people are working out all the time and they're saying, why am I not losing weight? And he is a doctor. He was doing everything right. He was eating what he thought was a healthful diet. And it was still hard. So one of the things to share with you that we've done here is we've started this 5,000 step per day challenge as a simple way of helping people to lose weight. Because what I believe, Keisha, is that if it's hard, you're not going to stick with it. If it's too hard and too challenging, which is why I love your method, because your method is sustainable. So tell us what you do now.
So the hardest part is just kind of in the beginning, understanding that the plan is not saying don't eat. It's just saying there are certain foods that do things to your body, and those things get in the way of you losing weight. So when I was trying to do the keto, I couldn't really fully understand, why can't I have fruit? Like, it's healthy, But well, he explained that the natural sugars in fruit were designed to fatten you up for the winter, like naturally. So
Correct.
if you're eating fruit, you are fattening up your body, even though you trying to lose weight. So that's why, and that helped me understand why you want to stay away from refined sugar for sure. And while you're trying to lose weight, you want to stay away from fruit as well, because it does the same thing, and simple carbs as well.
So quick question for you, because many people have this challenge. How did you stop eating the sugar? Because it's so addictive. I mean, it's in
It is
everything.
extremely
So
addictive.
while you're growing this plant and you're going to eat the plant and season it and make it taste good, your mind is telling you, oh, you should eat that cookie. So what did you do to prevent yourself from eating that cookie? Or did you just not feel it anymore because you were so satiated by the nutrients?
When you go through the process of basically you detoxing your body, um, you actually have to go cold turkey, which is what I did. And when you do that, it takes about 3 or 4 days. You literally go through withdrawals. You feel tired. This is the point when people quit, because they get to that climax point where you either feel like you're gonna faint, or you might feel a little queasy. Um, I've heard of people like losing their mind and going through the house and trying to find any sugar they could find, because it's not pleasant. It's not a
So
pleasant
5 days,
process.
6 days,
It takes
7 days,
about 3 to 4 days.
3 to 4 days.
Usually by the third day, you're feeling tired. You're feeling grumpy. You might have a headache. And people don't like going through that part. But if you can get to that part,
And
you
get
don't
over
have any more cravings. Yeah, like you're not hungry. You have more energy. Your brain literally clears.
it.
And all is well after that point. So it's the first 3 days that
And it's so
actually.
true, guys, because even with fasting, and I'm sure you've done that, Keisha, you find that the first day is the worst because you're so accustomed. Your habits are that you eat at a certain time. The second day is not as bad. And by the third day, you almost don't even feel that hungry.
That's the
It's
truth.
amazing. The body is it'll work with you if you work it, and with the walking, that's why I have this simple thing called 5,000 steps per day, because if we can get into those habits, of just doing the positive things, then it'll automatically flow. And the show is a lot about business and people who have businesses and want to make progress. But the flip side is if we can get these positive habits physically, then we're going to feel better and we'll be able to be more successful in our businesses. Like you've blown up with your business.
Well, thank you.
Yes, she has a gazillion people in her YouTube and on her Facebook. She is certainly doing well with her business, and it only started after she started to do the plant living. Now, I love eating vegetables. Many people who know me know that I don't eat meat anyway, but as far as growing it, now that is really something. I watched you on those videos actually planting. How did you get into that and start enjoying it? Or were you always?
I have always been planting stuff. Like my grandmother used to give me little pieces of plants. Started with house plants. And then my other grandmother, she always had a full-on like garden behind their house. And so I don't know, I've just always been kind of drawn to plants. I used to try to plant stuff when I was a kid, but it never really produced. But as I became an adult and you get your own house and you want to like plant stuff.
Well, you can feel free. I have a garden in the back and I have a little garden in the front. You can come on over and plant. I'm not that good at it. So if for people like me who are not that adept at planting, because we're city people, how do you
city person?
Where are you? Where are you based?
I'm actually from Ohio, from Toledo.
Okay, but where are you now?
I'm in Columbia, South Carolina now.
Like I said, the South. That's why I said the South. It's
the weather is different, and
right.
That does make some things easier.
So what would be the first thing that you would tell people to plant for people like me from the city who are not adept at planting? Something simple, especially people like me who don't really want to see the worms and,
My favorite thing to start with is lettuce. It's easy. It doesn't need a whole lot of space, and that's what I eat. So that's free lunch to me.
Wow. Okay.
So lettuce, plus it grows well in cooler weather. It doesn't do well in the summer. So I have a very limited time that I can grow lettuce here. I got to catch it in the early spring or in the early fall, or else I can't grow it.
Now you have a 28-year-old son and you look amazingly young. And I'm going to say it's because of I'm serious, because of the organic food, because people tell me that I look young as well. And I think the only thing that I'm doing differently, as well as probably your heredity, but the only thing that I'm doing differently is not eating the meat. So maybe there's some chemicals that you would have had in you that you don't. That's just my philosophy.
Well, I still eat meat though, like once a day. I don't eat it all day. And the bulk of what I eat is vegetables.
So you don't grow everything that you eat?
I don't grow everything, no.
Just the vegetables that you eat?
Most of the vegetables I try to. I still have to purchase some things because there's a season and a rhythm to things. So it's difficult to have a continuous flow of stuff that you're growing yourself.
Okay. So we're gonna take a few seconds, and when we come back, she's gonna tell us the secrets to how she transitioned from being a person who was obese to losing the 75 pounds and what exactly she did to get started and get over that hump. Right now, we're going to take a quick break. Only 2 minutes, guys, and we'll be right back. Thank you.
I'm Arlene, host of the television talk show Ask Arlene, which airs on Thursdays at 6:30. And I'm here to tell you 2 reasons why you should join our Speakers Bureau training and how to become a world-class speaker. 1, revenue generation. People who know how to communicate well earn more dollars and cents. And 2, if you have a day job, you're not a speaker, teacher, author, trainer, you're going to gain promotion on your job if you're better able to communicate with confidence in those board meetings. Now, you say, why should I join your group, Arlene? There are so many programs out there. Well, I'm guaranteeing you an interview on television or radio if you complete our 10 sessions of our Speakers Bureau training. So I have a plethora of friends that do the same types of things that I do. And so we're guaranteeing you an interview on either television or radio. And you say, well, why else, Arlene? Why else should I join? Well, if you join our Speakers Bureau, after having taken the 10-session training, I am going to help you along with our team to launch that speaking career that you always envisioned so that you can use your message to change the world. So there's so many programs out there and they tell you how to be a speaker, but I'm going to actually help you to get booked on paid speaking engagements on television and on radio if you complete all 10 sessions and you join our Speakers Bureau. I hope to see you there and see you using your dream, your vision, and your talent to change the world. Bye-bye. See you there.
So Keisha, hi.
Hey there.
So there's so many things in the book that you talk about. Can you give us one of the major tips that you think was really able to help you lose the weight?
Well, before, I think I just tried to do everything through willpower. Like I wasn't letting my body help me. So I think the biggest tip is letting go of that reluctance to eat right. Because once I started experiencing the feel of just having more energy, feeling better, having a clear mind, that's what made the difference. That's what made me want to keep doing it. That's what made me, I'm like, don't give me nothing that I'm not supposed to eat.
Wow. So that sounds amazing, but so many people, we start on these diets and the diets feel great at some juncture. And then we just go back because we want to eat the ice cream and we want to eat the cake. So you never wanted to eat the ice cream and the cake afterwards?
Well, I'm not going to say I didn't have cravings. I actually learned a lot through those cravings. And I learned that you can know everything there is to know. You can know what not to eat, what exercises to do, but it doesn't mean you're going to be empowered to do it.
Yeah.
Because there's an emotional component. Food has, we have emotional attachments to food. We use it to entertain ourselves. We use it to soothe ourselves.
Absolutely.
Reward ourselves, socialize, celebrate. So because of that, I learned that a lot of my eating was emotionally charged. And sitting through those cravings allowed me to actually start asking myself some questions and reflect on why am I wanting to eat this stuff that I know is not good for
you. So considering that you had been trying to lose weight for 40 plus years until you hit this plateau where you decided to transition, you had cravings before. And when you had the cravings, you succumbed to the cravings. So there are so many tools and techniques that we learn along the way. Like, for example, with this green drink now, I know that you're supposed to drink it within 45 minutes. Otherwise, it loses a lot of its nutrients if you don't drink it right away. So what is something that you learned that helped you to maintain that clean life when you were in that thick of it where you wanted to eat the cookie? Because my thing is chips, which I've been doing good with recently, much better. So I stopped eating the salt and vinegar chips. We had another challenge, which was give up challenge. I don't know if you saw that on social media, but everybody had to give up one thing. So some people gave up sugar. I gave up salt and vinegar chips. So I started eating a more healthful, what they call straws. But now I'm eating the straws all the time. So what are you, doing? Stop.
Well, part of it was finding a healthy substitute. I drank a lot of teas, but
when you got
say it again.
When you got the craving, you drank tea.
Yeah, I would drink some tea. Like the hydration plus the flavor of the tea would help. But I'll be honest, there were some times where I would drink the tea and I still was having a craving. And this was the first time that I was so serious about it and so desperate to stick with it that I started praying. Like, I am serious. This was the first time I was like, I can't just I'm gonna need some help. I'm gonna need some like extra help with this. So I actually realized through this process that it's an emotional journey, it's a spiritual journey, and
Absolutely.
biological. It's
Absolutely.
all of the three together.
That's the beauty for me of the walking, because I find that while we're walking, that's when people gain revelation about other things that really are causing the stress, which is what's causing you to eat in the first place. So by you being out in the fresh air, hopefully by the trees, now you're thinking thoughts that are coming to you about the challenge, and you're working through it, as opposed to being in the house, eating those cookies or those chips. Unless, of course, you take the bag of chips with you, which I've done too.
That's hard to do. And digging dirt and all of that.
What?
If you're digging in dirt, planting stuff, you kind of don't want your chips with you.
Hands are busy. Yes. So you've always enjoyed the growing. You've always enjoyed that. And I see that a lot of people are following you. So a lot of people are coming on board with that. How do we do that? Like people like me who've not done it in the past. What do you suggest? You told us to do lettuce, but like, how do we get in touch with the earth so that it's not so repulsive?
Well, we all naturally are drawn to the beauty of it. And honestly, I'm not going to say every day I wake up and I think I want to go out in the garden. I feel like doing some labor out there. It's just there are some days where I just need to feel some peace. And I go out there and I might say, well, let me check on my lettuce. And then I check on my lettuce and then I notice something new has sprouted. And it's something about that first spark of life that breathes new life into me. So it's so therapeutic. The surprises that I find in my garden like sustain me throughout my day in a way that I really can't explain. It's something you have to experience. So when you see a seed sprout, it does something to you. It's almost like some of the life spills out on you.
Wow. There's something about people like yourself who do grow. I know Dick Gregory is somebody who was like a major civil rights leader, and he bought a farm and he started growing all of the food on his farm. And he was speaking about how essential it is for us to be toxin free, because if you're growing it yourself, you're not getting all of the bad stuff. How has your life changed since you've become less toxic?
I am like unrecognizable. There's this picture that I have on the back of my book. People do not believe me. They see the smile. They're like, okay, the smile is the same. But my life is unrecognizable. I have more energy. I have more mental clarity. I'm more aware of what's going on internally. So it's almost like that journey forced me to look at my life as a whole, because your life as a whole is the reason why you emotionally eat. Like if you're working too hard, like I'm guilty, and I didn't realize this until this journey. I'm working too hard and I'm not experiencing the joys and rewards of my labor because I'm literally filling my day to the very tip. And so when you do that, you don't experience a reward, and food is like the quickest, easiest thing to turn to. And a lot of people do it and don't even realize that's what they're doing. You didn't get that call you were waiting for. You've been waiting to hear some good news and the good news didn't come through. Oh, well, let me grab a cookie, enhance my mood with that instead of what I really want out of life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I concur, especially, you being a teacher. I've been a teacher in the past. You're sitting down, you're grading those papers, you're in a stationary position, and you're just snacking while you're working. So for those of us who have sedentary lifestyles, especially more so now with COVID, it's essential that we get up and walk around the block. It doesn't have to be the 5,000 steps like I'm a proponent of, but I'm a proponent of getting up and starting, doing something in that direction. Because if we have the micro wins, then we can have the bigger macro wins. So do you recommend, I had a person on the show once and he said, the way to start is to eat a salad every meal. So eat what you're eating normally. But if you start with adding the salad, then you can add incremental vegetables over time. So what did you do? Did you just go cold turkey and you're eating all the salad, or did you do something incrementally that we can use to help us?
Well, I was following the meal plan and the guidance that Gundry gave, which is like have a smoothie or have one of these muffins made with the different flours, the almond flour, the coconut flour. So I would do that for breakfast. And then I would do a salad for lunch, no meat. And then I would do my dinner, a steamed vegetable and a healthy meat prepared in a healthy way. And that was my rhythm. That's what I would do. And then if I needed a snack, it would be something like plantain chips or sweet potato chips were, oh my goodness, they really helped me through. Yeah. So things like that, nuts. I do a lot of almonds and pecans and walnuts and pistachios, not peanuts.
Substitution is essential. Like I told you, I was doing the salt and vinegar chips, the Lay's, horrible. But now I'm doing the straws. They're still salt and vinegar, but they're not as bad. And when I was really on the healthful kick, I was actually eating the spinach and dipping it in the salt and vinegar. So that's really what I recommend. But it's a challenge sometimes to transition. Once you get in the habit, you're set. But the thing is getting into the habit. So what was the shift? What made you decide today is the day, I'm not doing it anymore? And you said you were feeling very tired, but you must have been feeling tired for a long time. What actually caused the shift where you said, that's it, I'm not taking it anymore, I'm not going to carry this extra weight?
When I realized if I just eat these healthy foods, I don't have to starve. I can just, when I feel hungry, reach for these things. And it's not like I didn't like them. It's not like we don't like them. It's just we think they have to be bland, so we don't season them. You can still use butter, like don't use margarine, but you can use real butter. It's preferable if it's grass-fed butter, but do the best that you can. So make sure your food is seasoned well. You don't have to go total no salt unless your doctor has told you that you need to do that. But there's so many herbs and spices. Rosemary is like my go-to. If I can just get some rosemary in something, it's going to be good. So your food,
rosemary, lemon.
Yeah, lemon, pepper, garlic, and butter, and we got to use these seasonings and these herbs that we know, onions, all that stuff, garlic,
so that the food is flavorful. Do you exercise too?
I do more functional exercise. I walk, I dance.
Great.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, but we have to close our show now. But we're going to invite you to come back for part 2. So we're inviting you to sign on and listen to the show so that we can have her come back and speak again. Thank you for listening. We wouldn't have a show without you. Thank you for Rahman and William and everybody who helps make our show do well today. Thank you. Bye-bye. See you next time.
I bet you think you could. Said you gon' leave me, man, I wish you would. Yeah, I'm different, so I'm misunderstood. So I'ma always be good. Said I'ma always be good.